That was wonderful. That was wonderful. I really listened to the words, and you've given half of my talk, so I will only take half the time.
We tried to.
That would be an interesting thing if I did that. Am I on now? Yes. Okay. I want to tell you that the workshop this afternoon, which is going to be how to apply the unity teachings, the metaphysical laws, and the metaphysical truths that we use, principles, with all of the tools unity has. And I'll be showing you, and you'll be showing me, ways of applying our tools to change our life. Because that's what it's about, changing our life and allowing our life to be more successful and happy. And, oh, you want that gone, okay. So, I asked if we could move the meditation until after I spoke, because I want to be able to use the material from the talk in the meditation. So if you're still sitting on the edge of your seat saying, they forgot the meditation, no, we didn't. There's another place for it. I'm going to tell you the story, a Sufi tale. The Sufis are the mystics from the Islamic faith. And the mystics speak in a universal language, just as most mystics speak universal. They talk very often about one God. They talk very often about the spiritual journey we're on, and that everyone is our teacher. So I invite you, while I'm talking today, to listen carefully to what part you play in this story. Listen to the part that you play in this story, because this story could be your name rather than the name of Fatima, which is a name from Morocco. And this woman finds herself on a ship with her father. Her father takes flax and spins it into threads that can become part of clothing, and it can be woven, and wonderful things can be done with it. And Fatima is young, but it's time for her to find a mate. And there aren't any mates that are available in Morocco, because this is a story. And so she gets on the ship with her father, and they set sail for Istanbul, and that's where she's going to find her mate. Well, great storm comes up. Ever have a storm come up in your life? You know, an internal storm or something going wrong in your life. And she finds herself washed up on the shore somewhere. She doesn't even know where she is. And she laments her lot. And do you know what lamenting a lot means? You know, she cries, she gets upset. And the next part of the story that I say lamenting her lot, I invite you to join me with that. So we all lament the lot, because there's a part of every aspect of our life that we do have feelings about things, and sometimes they're lamenting feelings, and that's okay. So I don't know what page I'm on, but it never seems to matter. Oh, well. So she finds herself on this beach, and there are some people coming toward her, but she's just out of it. You know, she's been swallowing seawater, and she looks around for her father. He's nowhere around, and she's feeling bad. And all of a sudden, these people come and say, "What happened to you?" She explains her story. She's going to find her mate, and she just cannot seem to get it right. Her father now, she doesn't know where he is. The boat probably sank in the storm, and here she is all by herself. And it's not fun. Actually, she just came out of being unconscious, most likely. And so this family looks with grace, with some pity, perhaps, but certainly with love, certainly with humanitarian love, that says, well, let's take her back to our house. Because we have a craft that we do, and maybe she can help us do the craft until she finds her father, which I'll tell you now she never does, or it wouldn't be the story. So she agrees to go with them. They take her back to his house, the house of the family. The wife just takes her in and says, you can help me here, and it's going to be so wonderful to have some aid, some people to help me. And then she decides that she is helping, but she wonders what the father is doing. What is his business? Well, he's taking the flax that had been woven into threads that her father would normally have made, and they weave them into things like rugs, like clothes, anything that you need material things for, they weave to be gone. Don't give so much attention. And that's what they're doing. And she says, oh, I don't know how to do this, but I'm the one who knows how to spin and make the threads. So I can help you with the weaving. I'd love to learn the weaving. And so he teaches her how to weave. And she forgets a little bit about her travail that she is experiencing. So they're weaving, and they have piles of cloths coming up, and they want to move toward selling them. And he says, you know, I think I trust Fatima to go with the cloth that I've woven to, what country is next? Alexandria. And she can deliver that. And she'll know all about it to explain it because she's made it from ground up. And so she goes in the ship, another ship, and she has all this cloth, and then she is, so excited about being able to do something to help the family that rescued her. And on the ship, another ship comes along a little bit larger and ties up, moors up to the other ship, and they are pirates. Pirates. We have them today, but these were feared pirates because they were so rough and didn't leave people alive, and it was scary. And Fatima knew about them because she lived in an area where there was ocean and water and the Mediterranean Sea. She hid in the boat, but the pirates managed to throw everybody off board, and they all drowned, the people. And they took the fabrics, and then they found Fatima, and they said, oh, good. We're going to a marketplace where they sell slaves. I think you'll give us a lot of good money because you're young and you know how to do all this stuff. So we're going to sell you in the market as a slave. Well, Fatima once again laments her lot. Let's rehearse that one more time. Fatima laments her lot. I want to tell you one more time that it's not bad to lament your lot. Our first response to anything is our emotional response from the amygdala. And it tells us to run away, or to hide, or to freeze, or to fight. And mostly, she laments, which is a way of loosening the pressure of the chaos that's happening. So, they take her to Alexandria, where she was heading before, but they take her to the slave market. And there's a young man who walks by who never would buy a slave. Never. It wasn't in his bones to want us to have anybody in servitude. But he knew that she was going to be purchased by somebody who might mistreat her. So she was bought by him. And he took her home to help his wife. Now here's a repeat of a story. It's kind of interesting how things happen over and over and over in our lives. Sometimes people marry the same husband even though they look different and have a different last name, but they happen over and over and over. Sometimes we repeat stories until we learn from them. So she goes to this home and helps the wife, and then she wonders, what could he be doing out there? I wonder what he's learning how to do. See, she's very curious and eager. She's probably a Sagittarius or a Gemini or somebody who loves to learn new things. And she goes out there and he makes the mast for a ship. The M-A-S-T, mast, it's hard to say with the retainer in. A mast for a ship, the wooden mast. And that's what he does. He spins them and he smooths them and he makes sure they're sealed well enough to avoid the water seeping in. And she decides that she would love to learn how to do that too. So he teaches her how to bring the poles of raw wood into the right spots and to carve them the right dimensions and to sand them down and to cover them with whatever they used in those days to make them waterproof. And she was having a good time learning a new skill. She had learned a weaving skill of material enough she knows, a pole making skill. So, after a couple of years and being well trusted, the father of this family says, you know, it's time to sell our poles in China through the Java Strip. And I think I trust Fatima enough. You see it coming already, right? I trust Fatima enough to go there with the poles and sell them and come back and bring me my money. So she's put in charge of this. Of course, there's part of her who's saying, not another friggin' ship. It doesn't seem to be good for her, but she goes and she gets a pack of things that help her survive, and she's just loving this idea now of going to another land, another country. And then a storm builds up off the coast of Java, and she finds herself washed up on the coast of China. Now, I don't know the geography enough to know how far that is, but she's on the coast of China now, and she once again laments her lot. And poor Fatima, she's on that shore, but she has a little bag with her now of survival things, which is very industrious of her. But she still doesn't know where she is, and she's lost the tent poles. But there was nothing she could do about the storm, so she does what anyone would do after lamenting their lot. She'd rationalize that it was the best thing that could happen, and she would let go of that. Well, she was still tired, and she decided to head to the nearest town, because she could see one, and it was going to be a day's walk at least. Well, let me tell you about China for a second, and you're going to have to suspend all your judgment, because there was a legend in China that the emperor would one day find a woman who is not Chinese, and she would be able to make him the most magnificent tent. He had tents, but they were rough and crude, and they didn't take much time, and they didn't really have the artist love. And she now is brought to him, and he says, my dear, they brought you to me because you're a woman from somewhere else, but can you make a tent? You know, she looks very genteel. How could she make a tent? So she thought, you know, I have posts, I have cloth, I have rope from the early days of flax spinning flax. I bet I could make a tent. So she goes up to me eagerly and she said, you know, sir, I can make you a tent. How big do you want it? What color do you want it? Because I'm going to do it for you. You get to participate. So we're not going to lament our lot anymore because she starts this tent and she has people help her. And they make a new tent pole because, with her instructions because she knew how to do it. They make new cloth because she knows how to do that. They make new string or fabric to be ropes and tent ropes and to color the inside of the tent. And she makes the most beautiful tent. And the emperor comes out to see it and says, you made this? Yes, sir. I know how to make, and this is out of context now, I know how to make lemonade out of lemons. You know, I know how to make things because I've learned them on my journey. Everyone was my teacher. And he gave her a treasure so that she would never have to worry about where to live, how to pay for it, or anything else ever. And then she ended up marrying the emperor's son, and everybody lived happily ever after. Or not. The stories usually end with happily ever after, but we know that things happen on the road. So how did you see yourself in this story? Were you Fatima who could learn new things to adjust to a new situation? Or are you still on the beach lamenting your lot? Or perhaps you said, I don't want to go with you. I'll take care of myself. That's kind of me. I'm an independent person. But I've had to learn to ask people to help me. And that was a really good thing because now my husband who's back there, all I have to do is say, more water, please. And he gets it for me. He didn't even hear it. Yes, he did. So this story reminds us of a principle that says everyone is our teacher. We learn from everyone. That's why we meet them. That's why all of you look familiar to me. It's really, really interesting that I think I've met all of you somewhere. But it's because we're all teachers of each other. We have lessons to teach each other, and sometimes they're lessons that you say, oh my God, how am I ever going to get out of this situation? And sometimes it's, yeah, show me how to play the ukulele. And it's ours, though, to lament our lot only until we can relax ourselves and get to that place where we're at peace with whatever happens, and to look around and say, what can I make of this? What can people show me, teach me? Your minister was in a very interesting situation. She was an intern at a church, and the church was in Montana. And the church wasn't prepared for the intern. In other words, I made the arrangements because I was in charge of interns, and I had called this person, and this person said, sure, we're ready for her. Send her down. We'll find a place to stay and whatever she needs. And for the 10 weeks, we'll teach her what we know about the church. And she called me and said, I can't find the minister. Then she called me another time and said, there's no place for me to stay, and it's Montana, and it's the winter. What do I do? And you know, together on the phone, we were lamenting our lots, because I didn't know what to tell her other than, I'll send you some money. And she was working it out. But the glorious thing about Christine is that she is creative, more than anybody I've ever met. She can come up with, just like Fatima, to do something in a way that works as a trial period. Is this going to work? No? Okay, let's do something else. Maybe this is going to work. Or, oh, it worked. How cool is that? And I offered to move her, and she said, no, I want to figure this out, and I want to see what this has to offer me. Right? So she took that church and the people there as her teachers. And they were the teachers for me, too, because I'd never run into a situation like that. And that was a wonderful thing for us to do together, was to allow the Spirit within us to guide us. Not to just simply sit there and lament, though it takes a bit of that sometimes just to loosen up, but to sit there with an open heart and an open mind and say, okay, God, Spirit, tell me what to do. Do I turn here or do I turn here? Do I leave or do I stay? Am I okay and safe? Or should I get out of Dodge? Whatever it was, she needed to turn within, and she did. And it turned out to be an experience that we talk about and joke about, but it really, she'll see 20 years from now what she learned from that experience, and it will be the most valuable. My students, when I was teaching administration, said, how come you're always talking about the bad things that happen in churches? Well, I didn't think I had. I had been telling about experiences I knew. Probably a few negative things had crept in because I was I can't even remember the name. I was a conflict manager or whatever name that was. I used to go to churches that were in conflict and see what I could do. And I knew that eventually things turned out for the best. But it took a while to wait and to have it unfold. And in the meantime, taking care of yourself is so important. And I saw Christine do that. I saw the students, when they heard that I was going to bring in 10 local ministers, because in Kansas City we have a Unity Church in every corner. You know, that's the home of the Unity. And we don't really, but we have about 7 churches. So there were 7 ministers and a couple of assistants who came into the class. And I said, you know, these students want to know about all the good things that happen in churches, and how much joy there is, and how many smiles you leave the church service with. And so they sat and they started to say, the first one said, well, you know, the best thing that ever happened in the church that I enjoyed so much was when this conflict happened, and told about a conflict and how they had come out of it with better understandings. And then the second one said, you know, when the church had a fire and we had to move to this really opulent building, we got used to the opulence of the building, and so when we rebuilt the part of the church that had burned down, we made it look wonderful, and we doubled our congregation. So a bad thing turned into a good thing. And then the next person, and the next person, and the next person. You see, each of these ministers was lamenting their lot at one point in their own life in the church. Complaining, making lists, looking at the bylaws, you know, on and on with what do we really need to do. And none of that was important, but it had to be done. They had to look and see what their options were. And then they had to pray, and they had to hold on and say, I wonder if we can get some more people to help us. And they did. And then what seemed like a bad thing turned into the best thing that happened for the church and those individuals. And that's why things happen. They aren't bad. There is no bad. There is no good. It is a lesson. We're in a school. This is our education. So whatever role you saw yourself in Fatima's story, that was your opportunity to learn from another person, something that I know you've done 1,000 times. But now you know that you can let yourself lament, and then you can let yourself grow by asking, what can I learn in this experience? And nothing is wrong in that answer. I'll stop there. I have 100 stories I could tell you. Actually, I've been in ministry for 30-something years, and I have about 7 file cabinets, most of them with material, so you're lucky I only brought one story. So I invite you to, we're going to move from here into our meditation, and I invite you to